They were not afraid of what the king had said, what he commanded them to do. And, sometimes we have to make a stand. There's a lot of issues going on in our country today we must make a stand on. And we need to stand up what's right. We need to stand up what God says is right. And by the way, what God says is right, regardless of what anyone else will say about it. God is truth tonight. God is all power tonight. And we need to be sensitive to what God says, not what man says. Man will lead you astray. He will tell you lies. He will tell you what he thinks is right. But be assured, God is right tonight. If you will trust in Him, if you will follow Him, you will not go wrong. These men did not go wrong. They knew that God could take care of them. They knew that God had the power to deliver them from that fiery furnace that the king promised them if they would not bow down and serve Him. They knew that God could deliver them from it. But if God decided not to, they knew that they were all right as well. They knew that if God did not spare them from the furnace, they knew that they would be in the presence of God. And that would be just as good. Matter of fact, it would be far better. Paul tells us, that it'd be far better that it be with Christ. The same with us tonight. We need to serve God. And we need to love God, and we need to depend upon Him, trust Him, have the same attitude as these three men did, and things will be good when we listen to God. And we know that God is able to deliver. We think about Daniel. God delivered him from the lions there in the lion den. He was thrown into the lion's den there, and God took care of him. God delivered Daniel, and we know that it was upsetting to the king, and he didn't sleep none that night. He come the next morning there and looked for Daniel, and Daniel was there. Daniel was alive. Daniel was doing well. We're in God's presence, we're doing well. That's good enough, to be in God's presence tonight. And those lions didn't have any power. Their jaws were locked. They couldn't have Daniel for no meal. And then we think about David. God delivered Goliath to David. David just a small being there, but he depended upon God. King Saul gave him armor there and told him to put it on, and David tried it on. He just too big, too heavy, too burdensome. He said, all I need is God, and I'll trust in God. And that's what we need tonight. God is enough. He's all we need tonight, and He is sufficient. And we think about the parting of the sea, where He delivered the Hebrew children there, and Pharaoh's army were close on them. And the children of Israel began to doubt some there, but we know that God was there with them. We knew that God would deliver, and He parted the Red Sea. They were able to cross on dry land, and when the soldiers followed in, the water overcame them. They were destroyed. Pharaoh's army was destroyed. But we know that God is able tonight. He can take, there's so many stories in the Bible where God has delivered His men and His people. God can deliver you tonight if you'll only trust in Him. He is there for you. If you'll just come to Him and trust in Him. Now, these men, they trusted in God. They didn't care what the king said. They didn't care what the king requested. They were going to stand firm in their belief. They would not compromise their belief. They would stand firm. They would trust God to the end. And in verse 18 it says, but if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy God, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. They were not about to serve any other God. And so we see that they had a very strong confidence in God. And tonight we need to have confidence. Many times we get out on our own. We try to take care of things ourselves and do things in our own power. and our own strength, and sadly, we mess up. But we need God tonight. If we'll only trust Him and come to Him first. You know, we think about the woman with the issue of blood. You know, she had tried every doctor that she could find, and none of them could help her. But when she come to Jesus and touched the hem of His garment, she was healed. And you know, we need to come to Jesus tonight. If we'll only come to Him, He can heal us. He can solve our problems. But you know, we have to have faith in Him. We have to trust. You know, a lot of people know, have some kind of knowledge, head knowledge, about Jesus tonight, but many do not truly know Him. We must truly know Him. And you know, I believe that the 3 Hebrew children here, I believe that they knew God in a personal way, and they loved God. They desired to serve God. God's commandments were no burdensome thing to them. And when we love God, His commandments are not burdensome to us. The Scripture tells us that.